Hey guys, how you doing? I just found out yesterday, my truck and my asshole have something in common. They're both leaking trans fluid. What's up, weirdos? Scott here. Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. If this is your first time to the channel, I'm sorry for traumatizing you. But I hope you enjoy the content. Thank you for watching. And today, I'm doing a quick review of my buddy's knife. My buddy Ian sent me one of his knives, a couple of his knives actually, and I'm reviewing one of them today. The Flytanium Arcade, and I absolutely love this knife. It's if you watch the unboxing, you'll know that I'm in love with this knife. I want to be with it forever. So anyway, I'm going to show you this knife. I'm going to do all the regular stuff that I do, but I'm also going to change out the scales for you guys to take a look at the difference of how it looks just with the show side, so I don't have to keep taking off the pocket clip over and over again. I hope you don't mind that, but I'm just going to show you the one side. So what do you say, guys? Let's do it up. All right, overall length on the Flytanium Arcade. Also, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, I don't know if anybody's going to watch both videos tonight, so just in case, I'm going to say this on both videos. Tonight, I'm going to be doing a quick video on my other channel, which I'm finally going to be starting up. I finally got my studio set up the way that I wanted it, the recording equipment that I was able to get. I do need a new camera, but I think the one that I have will work good enough for it. It's not going to be a live stream or anything like that. I'm just going to record the video on StreamYard so that I can play a music video for you guys and kind of comment on it. I'm going to be playing the music video, The Machine by Tom McDonald. If you haven't heard it yet, I highly recommend listening to this song and really paying attention to the lyrics and everything. It really hit me hard. So I just want to kind of try to spread this message a little bit better on my other channel. The other channel calls Question Everything. I did change the name of it in case you guys didn't know that. But I will leave the link for that channel in the description of this video in case anybody is interested in visiting the channel tonight and watching that. I would appreciate it. I would appreciate the support. I've only got, I think, 19 or 20 subscribers on that channel, so if anybody from this channel is not subscribed to that channel and you would like to be, please do so tonight. But anyway, let's get started with the review finally. Overall length on this guy is 8.59 inches with a 3.56 inch cutting edge. I'm sorry, a 3.56 inch blade, a 3.5 inch cutting edge, and I'm reading you the wrong specs. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're going to do this way. Such an idiot. I forgot to, I have boards that I keep all the specs on my stuff on just in case I forget it. And I left the one up there from the last review that I did. So anyway, overall length on this guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 7, I'm going to say 7 and 7.7 inches, 7.65 inches, something like that. With a blade that is 3.25 inches overall, and a cutting edge right between 2.75 and 2.75 and 3 inches for the cutting edge on that guy. Looks like you have a simple drop point blade here with a flat ground edge, and you've also got a swedge here that carries out all the way to the tip, starts about halfway down the length of the blade. You do have a flat here, a very small flat, that carries out to about 60% the length of the blade. And obviously you've got some either brass or something like gold anodized thumb studs here, which are removable. They can be replaced. You've got the Flytanium emblem there, and you've got the Flytanium brand name there. And then on the other side, you've just got S35VN and nothing else crazy going on the other side. The Arcade is running on bearings. I haven't taken it apart, but I'm sure it's running on bearings. This guy does have the Shark Lock. We'll get into that in just a little bit. So these are aluminum scales, but they do sell titanium scales for this guy on Flytanium's site. As you can see here, you've got quite a large pivot. That is a T10. And then all the other screws on this guy are T6s. That bugs me a little bit, and not a lot. You can get the same size screws that you have here in T8s without any problem whatsoever. The only reason I have an issue with this being T6s is that if these scales are modular, if you can, I'm sorry, interchangeable, you can just switch out how the knife looks whenever you want. These knives are going to be, these screws are going to be used a lot more than on something that you only take apart 3 or 4 times a year to clean. So making them T6, in my opinion, was not the best choice, but that's why it's my opinion, because you know, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and they all stink. So, you know, if anybody disagrees with me, that's perfectly fine. We can have a conversation about it, but otherwise, I don't want to hear it. Okay, so T6 screws for the pocket clip, which, as you can see, is just a stamped stainless steel pocket clip. Fairly certain that's stamped. Oh no, the pocket clip's titanium. I'm sorry. And you've also got titanium scale here on the other side. Those are the ones that I had on it when I got ready to do the video, so I switched it over to the black here. But I will put on the titanium on the other side just so that you can see it without the pocket clip there. You have a nice little glory hole here. People will be happy about that. A couple of standoffs here, and then, in my opinion, the star of the show, the Demko Shark Lock. Absolutely love the Shark Lock. Such easy access to, such, you know, easy disengagement, such easy deployment. The lockout is absolute. There's no left or right play, no up or down play. All you have to do to get the knife to go back into the handle is just pull the button and it falls straight back down. You don't really have to give this any wrist at all to get that to go back down into the handle. And the way that the Shark Lock is designed, it's kind of like, you know, a lot of times when you have an Axis lock or something and you drop it down, if you release the lock a little too late, it'll just bounce back out of the handle, and then you have to readjust it, which could cause you to cut yourself if you're not paying attention. In my opinion, this lock is much better because it doesn't really do that. No matter how hard you fire it, and no matter when you let this go, it's going to lock back into the handle no matter what. So there's not a lot of risk there of cutting yourself, which in my opinion is a huge bonus. I absolutely love this knife. You can see it's very slim knife, and I skipped over all the bullshit that I normally do. I'm so stupid. I'll give you some size comparisons here, and then we'll get back into how much I love this knife. So compared to the Rat Model 1, this guy is going to be a little bit shorter. Compared to the Rat Model 2, this guy is going to be a lot longer. Next up, compared to the RSK MK1 G2, Doug Ritter's answer to the Benchmade Griptilian, one of my favorite knives in my collection, fish out. This guy is going to be just a little bit longer than the Arcade, and the 80-20.5 is going to be just a little bit shorter than the Arcade. I will compare. I'm going to leave this here just because I'm planning on comparing it to this knife, and we will take a look at the last two here. Last but not least, certainly the SPYDERCO knives. The Paramilitary 2 is obviously going to be just a little bit longer than the Arcade, and the Para 3 is going to be quite a bit shorter than the Arcade. Carry profile compared to the Para 3, the Arcade I believe is just a tiny bit. Nope, I'm sorry. It's exactly the same width as the Para 3. And as you can see here, nowhere near, the Arcade is nowhere near as tall as the Para 3 as well. So this is great in the pocket. Absolutely love it. Let's get a weight on this guy. Sorry for forgetting all that stuff, guys. I'm so stupid. All right. I believe, I want to say this was like 5 ounces? 3.7. That's a lot lighter than I remember it being. But I don't doubt it. Like I said, aluminum scales, well, it's not going to make a huge difference, but I took one of the titanium scales off. So yeah, this is around 3.7, 3.5 ounces, somewhere around there, depending on what inserts you have in the scale. So either way, probably sub 4 ounces, which is incredible in my opinion. I don't know why I remember this knife being heavier than it is, but I did. I'm always going to admit when I fuck up, guys, when I realize it. Let's get a blade stock thickness on this guy. Can I get a thickness? I've been doing that a lot lately. All right, 125 thousandths, maybe 126, but I think it's probably closer to 125. All right. So, blade stock thickness, not terrible. Nice thin blade stock, flat ground all the way down to the blade, or down to the apex rather, and then the bevel. God, I'm stupid. So that's a nice little distance for a flat grind. A hollow grind would have been more slicey, but I don't know if this would have been too slicey. I don't know if that's really a thing, but it would probably make it a little bit less, a little less strong. I don't know what the right word. A little weaker, I guess, with a thinner blade stock in the center here, giving it a hollow grind. Anyway, I'm going to try to sound like I know what I'm talking about again. So again, I don't know why I like the action on this better on this knife than I do on my 80-20.5. I really, really do. The blade still drops shut, you know, when the button is pulled back. It's a little bit less smooth. It's a little bit less satisfying with the 80-20.5 as opposed to doing it with the arcade. There's a little bit more of a snappiness to it, and it just feels more solid. Like I said in my unboxing, that might have something to do with the aluminum. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is, but I like the way this knife feels a little bit better. It's a very subtle nuance thing that I'm talking about right now, because it really is a person by person, I guess you just say that, you know, a preference thing. I just like the way this one feels in my hand a little bit better than I do with the 80-20.5. I do like the choke up point on the 80-20.5 a little bit more. It gives me a little bit more confidence than just using this here. There's a little bit more of a dip here. It gives you a little bit more of something to hold on to. That's not to say that this isn't comfortable and that this doesn't feel good, because it does. I'm just showing you one of the parts about the 80-20.5 that I like a little bit more than the arcade, because there's not a lot. I like the way the pocket clip is on this guy a little bit better than I do on the 20.5. It's just a little bit less of a hot spot for me personally, the way it feels when I grab onto it. But I like the way the Shark Lock works on this guy. I just like the way it works a little bit better on the arcade. I don't know that I would ever choose this knife over the 80-20.5. I guess it would depend on what I was doing. But I do love the way this knife looks and feels, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So let me show you these scale swaps here. Let me grab my mat, because for those of you that don't know, I live in the middle of nowhere. And the house that I live in a borough called Edinburgh. It's a very small town in the middle of farms and cornfields and this, that, and the other, and then there's a college here. Anyway, the house that I currently live in used to be the first school that was ever built in Edinburgh. So it's at least 100 years old. It's not very big, and it's not very level. So I can't put like little screws and stuff on my desk, because they'll just fucking roll away. Anyway, I don't know why I had to tell you that story. I just felt like you would want to hear it, because I like people to be in pain. Anywho, so you've got the black, I think, pretty good, you know, pretty well worked out how that looks. I have a syndrome. I can't concentrate and talk at the same time. So if I stop talking altogether, I apologize. I don't mean to do that, but it's a distinct possibility at this point. So all you got to do is take out these two screws. There we go. They do have a little bit of blue Loctite on there, but that's not a terrible. That's not a big deal. Should make it so that they don't come out. If it is, that's because they use the wrong kind or they use too much. And all I really have to do is just take my fingernail and get it as far in there as I can, and eventually that will just pop back up. Do not, under any circumstances, use a screwdriver or a pry bar or anything like that to get this out of here. It's not necessary. You don't need to do that. You're just going to fuck up your knife. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. I'm sorry. So I like the natural micarta on this guy I don't know. I like the natural micarta a lot. I don't know that I like it more than the titanium, but I like the way the texturing on the G10 feels better than I like the natural micarta. So there are things that I like about each insert, and there are things that I don't like as much about each insert. But when we're talking about the natural micarta inserts, I don't know what it is. It's the way that they contoured them, the way they milled them. I don't know for sure. But what I can tell you here, and this is pretty much the same thing as I saw with the G10 inserts, and I'll show you that when I show you the titanium ones. You can see here, I don't know how well you can see, but the screws are pretty much flush. Not the back screw, that's up a little bit higher, but this one up here is pretty much flush, which I like. I don't know that they would have been able to do that down here on the lower screw, but I feel like this is more comfortable than the way this feels or with this feels, the G10 scales. And that's only because the screws stick up a little bit higher with those two scales than they do with this natural micarta scale. So that's why I like the natural micarta scales a little bit better than the both of these. But otherwise, I love all three of them. You know, I don't want to imply that I don't like any of the other scales. I just like the way the natural micarta ones feel better, just because they are milled in a way that allows them to kind of hide these screws just a little bit better. Okay, so just get these on here. Sorry, I was having trouble finding where the screws started on this one. I don't like to strip screws, especially when they are not my knife. Okay. I'm not sure if I showed you centering on this knife yet or not. So I will do that in just a moment here. I won't put the black ones back on. You've already seen those enough. So there are the titanium scales. Give you a close-up of that. But yeah, as you can see, these screws are in pretty snug. So there's quite a bit of these two screws sticking up out of the scale. This is a nitpick. This is 100% a nitpick. This is not a reason to not get a knife or to send one back. It's not a flaw. It's just a personal preference. I prefer inset screws. I always have, I always will. And these just feel, you know, the natural micarta ones feel a little bit better on my hand, but I do like the texturing on the titanium inserts quite a lot, and the color that they add to the knife for sure. I think I've talked about everything. As I said, you can get replacement scales for this. You can get replacement inserts for this. You can get replacement scales for this guy. You can get them replaced with titanium scales, or they do have different thumb studs that you can also replace on this knife. So this is a little bit of a modifiable knife. It feels fantastic in the hand. The ergonomics are absolutely amazing. You can use this little spot here as a choke-up spot. It's a little bit less secure than just holding the knife where you're supposed to in the regular hammer style grip, but it's still pretty comfortable to be able to use, especially with that jimping there. You know, push cuts, detail work. The pinch grip on this guy is absolutely fantastic. This is a fantastic knife in every way as far as I can tell. Especially realizing that pocket clip is titanium. I still don't prefer this style of pocket clip, but I think this is Flytanium's first knife. So for me, in my opinion, I don't know that I'd call it a home run, but I think it's pretty damn close. I'd call this at least, you know, an infield triple. Maybe. I don't know. It's a really good knife. But I think that's it for this one, guys. Again, If you want to visit me on my other channel, I'll put the link down in the description. I don't know if I did this or not. You know, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is lets_do_it_up, LETS_DOITUP. And if you want to send a knife or knives into the channel for review, send me an email. letsdiu79@gmail.com. letsdiu79@gmail.com. Send me an email. I will send you my shipping address. You can send me your knife or knives for review. I will spend a week or two with them, review them, and then I will send them back to you. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. I know you guys already know how to do that, but for some reason they always tell us that we should encourage people to do it. So do it. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay up, weirdos. Take it easy. Bye.